Hey, what's up, everybody? Remember me? Fire Style Jutsu? Hey, long time no see. Yeah, so some stuff happened. I basically had to start the new year with a new camera because my old one just conked out on me, just up and died. And it was literally on the day that I was supposed to record my live reaction for chapter 1001 of One Piece. I just realized, oh, great, my camera is just straight up dead. It's not working. And so I had to get a new one, which I'm using right now. So yeah, hope you like the quality here of this new camera. It's a 4K camera, so it's like, it's a higher quality. Hopefully this one won't die on me anytime soon. But yeah, so I just but waiting for the camera to come, and also me being busy with like work, it just kind of it made it impossible for me to do a live reaction in any like in a time in an early enough time that I felt comfortable with. And also, I do my hero live reactions as well, so I couldn't. So it didn't make sense to do a live reaction to either of the new chapters. So I just thought I'd put them together in a double review. So this will be first start with my review of chapter 1001 of One Piece, uh, titled "The Battle of the Monsters of Onigashima," which is such a badass title for a badass chapter. And let's start with the cover page. I love this cover page of Jinbei with like the black background because it's like probably like on the bottom of the sea where there's like not a lot of light, and we just see him floating on these giant jellyfish, or he's floating on one jellyfish. And it's just really beautiful. I like the sparks of like light as well, and in the darkness, and just the jellyfish, and like they're all smiling. Jinbei and the jellyfish. It's just really laid back, beautiful cover page request from Toshi by PN Toshikiya. So yeah, that was a good idea for a cover page request. That was really beautiful. But but yeah, so then we get into the fight. We get the aftermath of the Red Rock punch from Luffy, and Kaido's like he's getting up. He's like, ugh, and he's kind of taking that, and then we get we're talking about Zoro, and we get Zoro, Kid, Killer, Law's reactions. And Zoro's talking about how Luffy's using the Rio Haki, and I was wondering about that, if the Red Rock incorporated Rio Haki in the punch. It looks like it did. I wasn't expecting Luffy to bust out the Rio that early. I thought he would still have to kind of focus and like use it like a little later in the fight. So that was interesting. And then we get Kaido's reaction, which is really cool because he looks at Luffy and he sees like the image of all the handful of strong fighters who are able to damage him, including until that's obviously Oden. We get his former crewmate Whitebeard, and Roger, of course, the king of the pirates, and his former captain Rocks. So those all make sense. But you also have Shanks there too, and so that implies, Shanks. But everyone's taking that as a like, oh, that confirms that Kaido and Shanks definitely fought in Marineford, or before Marineford. To stop Kaido from coming to Marineford. Shanks fought him or whatever. But I still don't believe that they actually fought. Like, I'm sure Shanks actually could damage Kaido. Like, that's not that surprising. But that doesn't confirm that they fought, before, while Marineford was happening. Because Shanks showed up, he was completely unscathed. And, if I feel like if Shanks and Kaido actually fought, like, the world would notice that. You know what I mean? Like, that, and, like, Shanks wouldn't be completely unscathed. Like, he'd look at least a little dirty or something. I don't know. But yeah, I still think I still like to think Shanks just brought Kaido some good booze. And like, here, Kaido, these are the strongest booze in the world. I know you like to drink. Just take this sake and just sit this one out, man, for me. And then Kaido's like, mm, All right, I guess that's good enough right here. But you watch your ass. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I don't know. I don't think they actually fought, but I'm not surprised that Shanks could damage Kaido, obviously. So yeah, and so he's seeing Kaido seeing all these strong legendary pirates above Luffy's image, like so he's like kind of he's including Luffy potentially in this group of people who could potentially kill him or defeat him. So of course that brings a smile to his face, but then he goes straight into Thunder Bagua. And this is really interesting because Luffy, after it looks like he doesn't take the full brunt of it. He gets hit a little bit, but he says Luffy's using his future sight, his Katakuri style observation haki. But Kaido's still the Thunder Bagua is still too fast for Luffy to dodge it completely, which I think is that really says a lot about Kaido's speed, not just his power. So yeah, so then Kaido notes this, and then Big Mom just goes right into an attack with Prometheus, like a fire attack, and then we get Zoro going right into defense against this attack, showing that he has learned Kinemon's Foxfire technique, which is very interesting. His Foxfire style, he cuts Prometheus in half. And so that was a very interesting thing. Like, and then Luffy's surprised, like, "Whoa, that's Kinemon's technique." And Zoro's like, "Yeah, I stole it." So that's, I guess, so Kinemon didn't teach Zoro this technique. He just kind of stole it from Kinemon. I guess he watched it. He's seen Kinemon do it, so he kind of figured out how to do it himself. You know, Zoro's pretty good at the whole swordsman thing. But so yeah, that was interesting. I'm sure he hasn't fully mastered Foxfire style, I would imagine, but he could at least do this one move here where he can cut fire in half. So yeah, but then Kaido goes right in to continue his attack on Luffy. He wastes no time, and then Law wastes no time in teleporting Luffy out of the way. And we get this really funny moment where Law is just like, everyone's been talking about this moment. Like, it's just so funny. It's like it's such a great Law moment where he's like, Luffy or Straw Hat, I know you told me to move the red scabbards out of the way, but I was gonna totally do that anyway. You didn't have to tell me that. It's a really cute moment. And I like to think that Law is just kind of trying to pipe up and like not look like Luffy's whipping boy because Kid is here. You know, because like they had that moment back in Sabaody where it's like the three of them were like equals going out and fighting the Marines like in front of the auction house. Is like the really badass moment. And so you know, I think Law's trying to look tough in front of Kid, where it's like I was totally gonna do that anyway. I was, you know, screw you, Straw Hat. So yeah, that's a really funny moment there. But another funny moment we get, see, funnier than that, is Prometheus spits out these 3 fireballs at the 3 captains, and they're all like, they're like, you know what? You want to test who's badass? Whoever flinches is the bitch in this trio. And so they all just stand there, and the fireballs come in at their face, and then they all do that, huh? Face from like the Usopp and Frankie and Robin did earlier in the arc, but they all just take the fireball straight to the face. They're okay though; they're fine. But just they all do the the scrunched face. It's really funny. Zoro's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" But then he puts on the bandana. Zoro's putting on the bandana. I don't know when's the last time he put that on, but he's going into beast mode with the bandana mode. And then we also get a moment where Zoro calls Killer Kamazo. And Kamazo's like, "Oh, you knew it was me?" It's like, yeah, not a lot of people have a laugh like yours. But we get this double attack with Zoro and Killer on Kaido. They both try to decapitate Kaido, basically. See, Killer. We find out Killer's whirling blade weapons are called Punishers, and he tries to decapitate Kaido with them, and like he just see Kaido's neck get kind of tense. Like he's got that strong neck. He just like repels. He's like, yeah, that's it. Now we're getting into it. You know, because he's getting excited. These strong pirates are coming for his, literally coming for his head. But so the Zoro says, I gotta unleash Enma more. So yeah, he's still trying to get the hang of Enma. But it's interesting that even using Enma on Kaido's human form, I guess he's not fully using it, but even it wasn't able to cut him at all. So that's really saying something about Kaido's toughness, and we already know how tough he is. But yeah, it's basically the fight it's an all out brawl. Even the ground is getting broken up. The three captains all try to pour on the power onto Kaido, and we get we get a very cool technique from Kid. By now, I haven't really looked it up, but there's gotta be so much fan art of this on the internet. But Kid's technique, he actually makes a badass like floating robotic thing out of all the metal he was collecting earlier. He makes this like pirate robot, and like it has like a skull, and like it looks like it kind of has like a crown around its face of like spikes. It's got spikes on its head, and it's just a bad. Kind of looks like, has the skull face, kind of like Brook. It's like but it's not like a fully formed robot. It's like a head and a torso and arms, and it has like a big steering wheel on the bottom of its torso part, and it's just like they're kind of like floating. So it's not like a full mech robot thing. It's just kind of like it's like it's got the pieces that he needs, and he's riding the like on the torso part, like on its back. And so it's just it's called this is a Punk Rotten type of robot. Like it's and then Luffy's going in Gear 4th at the same time, and Law is levitating some giant rocks that are like spiky and like they're pointed at Kaido. And so yeah, and the Kid goes, we know you got some tough skin, Kaido, but how's it gonna hold up against being crushed? And then Luffy comes in with a gum Kong gun. And then we get this, and then what Law says, we get this moment that everyone's getting caught up on, where Law says, I will go straight inside the body to deliver a surgical death. And then, of course, Kaido's smiling at all of them coming at him. And, first Luffy hits him with the Kong gun, and then Kid's robot tries to squish Kaido in the Punk Vice attack. And Law just crushes he brings the rocks down on Kaido. And everyone's getting caught up on this, like it's like either they take it as like a joke or they take it as like a what the hell moment where Law's like, I will give you a surgical death. And then he just crushes him with rocks and stuff, and like, haha, isn't that funny? But I took that as like, if you see he doesn't just drop a bunch of rocks on Kaido. If you go to the previous page, the rocks are like they're all jagged, they're all pointy rocks, and they're pointing at Kaido. So I took that as like he's hitting Kaido like in the vital spots with like these giant spiky rocks, and so it's like it's not just like crushing it with rocks. He's hitting like he's hitting the vital points with these giant jagged rocks. That's how I took it, at least. But everyone's getting caught up, like, why did Law say that? Herpa derp, like, I don't know. I don't think it's that weird. That's just how I took it, but whatever. But it doesn't, Kaido's not down for long. He erupts out of the rocks in his dragon form, looking no worse for wear after taking all those attacks. And Big Mom, meanwhile, has been, she's floating on Zeus. And they're both looking extremely foreboding over these upstarts, these whippersnappers. And then Kaido says, whoever wins gets that much closer to the king of the pirates, because he said they're gonna take everything that Kid and Law and Luffy have after they kill them, basically. Uh, so yeah, that's a chapter 1001 was a really badass chapter, and it's just a great. It would have been a great chapter to do a live reaction to, but obviously I couldn't. But it was just a really badass chapter, man. Like, this is the nitty gritty. I do still want to see what's going on with the Tobiropo fights, like against like Jinbei and Who's Who, and I want to see like what's going on with King and Queen. And so there's other stuff, other fights I want to see. But while we're in this fight, this is the fight that matters, and it's really badass. But moving on to My Hero Academia chapter 297, the second part of this review. It was also a very good chapter. This is the prison break chapter, where All For One is breaking himself out of prison, and it was insane. It was insane. So we get Tartarus prison, which is we get more detail. We get like an aerial shot of Tartarus, and we see. It's not like a detailed map, but we do see all the different components, all the areas of the prison, like at least on the top side. We learn in this chapter, it's kind of like Impel Down, where it actually goes underwater a little bit. Like the most dangerous criminals are held like below sea level or whatever. That's where All For One is. So yeah, they're basically, this is all happening at 8:34 p.m. We see like they have like these prison robots that are like firing guns at trying to keep the Nomus out as All For One / Shigaraki are trying to come in, and we see this guy with a cool mask. Like, I guess he's one of the guards. He has like kind of like a horned like skull looking mask. It's kind of looks like a buffalo skull or like a ram skull or something. His name is Gyges. I don't know how to say it, but it's like Gyges. He's pretty cool looking, but I feel like he's probably gonna end up dying in this whole situation. But yeah, he's leading the prison robots, and so yeah. Then we get we see the prison break, and we see inside the prison we see Muscular, who's like locked into this chair. We see Moonfish, who's like looks like he's like trying to chew the wall or like bang his head against the wall. And we see Chisaki in his cell, and we see this new girl who's like the star of this chapter. We know nothing about her, but we know she's a villain, and she's locked up in Tartarus. And she's a real cutie, because you know Horikoshi don't draw cute female characters, and she's a new one. And we also see Kurogiri, but we don't really see him making the prison break in this chapter. And we also see, in one tiny little panel, we see Stain, what looks like Stain, because he has like this wild hair. He's just kind of like sitting there. But yeah, so basically, just the prison break starts. They short out. All For One uses Shigaraki's EMP airwave attack to like short out the electricity in the prison, and then we get more we get drones flying in before that, and they're just trying to find out the Nomu. And we get this awesome panel, by the way, of Shigaraki like riding one of the flying Nomu, and this is all happening in the rain, like at night, so it just looks really cool. And Shigaraki and All For One are kind of arguing because they're kind of trying to share the body. Like, All For One's trying to take control of Shigaraki's body, and Shigaraki's obviously trying to fight that. And you just see kind of All For One kind of keeping Shigaraki at bay within the vestige world, like on the inside. And so yeah, it's just they're just kind of fighting for dominance. But then All For One uses decay to like bring down one of the guard tower. But Shigaraki's body is kind of it's not fully healing yet because it's not a full. He was only at 75%, and then like his body's been taking so much, and the high speed regeneration isn't working quite right. So that's it. But then, All For One, while in his cell, he lets out another EMP blast to finish off like all the electronics in the prison, and just all the cells open up. Basically, all hell breaks loose. We get Muscular busts in there, look with his shaggy hairdo. He looks like he needs a haircut, definitely. But muscles are looking big and gross as ever. He's just going wild. And we see Moonfish's teeth are just like cutting through, like impaling people, impaling guards and prisoners just indiscriminately. And we see his face for the first time too. He's it's obviously talking about flesh. I want flesh. And then we see the new cute villain girl break out. And she looks really, compared to the other villains, she's very chill. So it's, but yeah, she's kind of like oh, what am I doing here? But yeah, and she ends up letting out Chisaki, who obviously can't open this cell because it ain't got no arms. But yeah, but she seems to have, whatever her quirk is, her hands seem to like glow, and like so as she turns the latch to open up Chisaki's cell, she's doing something. Maybe it's like electronic quirk, or maybe it's just like super strength. I don't know. But you see it in one panel, like her hand is like glowing as she's turning it, and so Chisaki just flies out of the cell. He's just like, boss. And so of course that's all he cares about is the boss of the mafia family or whatever. So yeah, it's just smoke and fire, just destruction in the prison, and finally it ends with All For One out of the cell. He's free. He still needs his respirator machine. He's like floating it next to him, but yeah, he's free, and then he's face to face with Shigaraki, and he says, "This impending void era will give rise to a more perfect demon lord. This will be the story of how I became the greatest demon lord of all." Oh wait, no, that's how Deku would say it. But yeah, so it'll be so that's it. It'll be very interesting to see who will be in control of the villains now that All For One is free. But I don't think All For One is necessarily trying to. I think he is willing to pass the reins over to Shigaraki. I think his era, like he's more willing to. I think he wants to be the guy in the shadows again, like kind of the puppeteer, and Shigaraki will be probably the face of the villains, the villain organization now. And but yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll butt heads. I don't know. And hopefully they'll get Gigantomachia back, like maybe because he's mentioned in this chapter, like they didn't get him to Tartarus quite yet, so I'm sure they'll intercept his convoy and get him back, and maybe all the villains will be free, which would be very bad for the world right now. But yeah, that was a crazy chapter too, man. Chapter 297. But yeah, so that's gonna be my double review of One Piece and My Hero Academia. I'm very late, but so if you're watching this video, just know that I appreciate you. But yeah, so I'm very interested to see what happens in One Piece and My Hero Academia. But there's no chapter this week for One Piece. I think there might be for My Hero, but One Piece is definitely on break this week. But yeah, so that's it. It's Parasol Jutsu signing out.